Welcome everybody back to the Crimson 15 podcast. I'm your host, Crimson Sin.
I'm N15 PCA.
And on today's episode, we are going to just do a quick little reaction and thoughts and feelings about Spider-Man Homecoming. We saw it a couple days ago. Let it process, let it sit in your minds, and now we kind of have all of our thoughts together about how we felt. And overall, just Marvel does it again.
Oh, yeah,
Great movie.
They knocked it out of the park. I mean,
they did it again. It's like you cannot go wrong with going and seeing a Marvel movie. You just can't.
Yeah, it's like when Sony got Spider-Man, they broke it, and then here comes the MCU and they fixed it. Basically, they fixed Spider-Man to what it needed to be.
The Tom Holland owned Peter Parker and he owned Spider-Man now. Yeah. I loved the original films. The Sam Raimi directed ones. Not so much the third one, but the first and second original Spider-Man films are really good with Tobey Maguire. And that was my Peter Parker Spider-Man. The Amazing Spider-Man series, I've never even seen them. That's how much I disliked those films.
Yeah, we talked about that the last podcast. It wasn't all that good.
But now, Tom Holland is Spider-Man. Tobey Maguire has been knocked off his perch for me personally, and now it's Tom Holland. He owned this character. He was believable as a high school student. He was believable as a smart kid in school at a special school for like highly intelligent kids, and he was believable as Spider-Man. He was everything you want in Spider-Man.
Nerdy guy, outcast kind of guy.
And he's kind of socially awkward and he has his one weird friend, and then they kind of hang out together, and it's 100% believable as a high school student.
Yep.
And that's something you didn't get in the other films, really.
Nope. And we're going to be having spoilers here.
Oh, yeah. If there's a spoiler, I'm pretty sure we're going to try to not be too spoilery, but if we do, just, if you haven't seen the film, I don't see why you haven't, unless there's a reason why you couldn't get to the theater.
If you're a comic book fan, you have to see this movie.
You're a comic book fan, you haven't seen it, and you're wondering about it, just stop the video, go see it. You're not going to be disappointed.
Definitely not.
But for all the characters, I thought Peter Parker, excellent. His best friends, I don't remember his name, but the Asian kid.
Yeah, he was
funny. He was really good. Believable as like that stupid friend that you have. It was like he's into the Star Wars Lego stuff and everything. He was believable as that.
He did good there.
And Flash Thompson was a real flippin' jerk in this film.
Oh, like the worst I've ever seen.
Yeah, mega bully. Geez, and the thing is, he's like this skinny little punk. Like, what are you bullying? I'm pretty sure you've been bullied because you're just like this. Like, he wasn't like the original Flash Thompson was like a football player.
Yeah.
This Flash Thompson is just kind of a jerk.
Well, it's so funny now I think about it. It seems like in this school he could be the bully because in a normal high school he's the one that gets picked on.
Because I don't even think this school even has like a sports team. It's not like academic.
Yeah, it's all an academic school. See, in this one, he's kind of just big enough where I could be the bully here, but in his old high school, he's the one picked on.
Yeah, there's no way. If this kid went to like a normal high school in New York, this kid would be getting his butt kicked.
Yeah, exactly.
And then there was Peter Parker's love interest was, what was her name?
Oh my goodness.
I totally forget her name, but she's not, I'm pretty sure she has nothing to do with the comic book. She's just a made up character for this.
Yeah, definitely.
And she did fine, and she wasn't, pretty good. And then you have the Michelle character with the world's greatest not a secret, where she's Mary Jane because, okay, if you didn't know that, that's what it is. She isn't Mary Jane. Her name is Michelle, but at the end of the movie, she goes, my friends call me MJ. So I don't know what the heck they're doing with that.
I don't either.
So is this the movie version of Mary Jane?
Maybe they do No Interpretation, which I'm sorry, Sony. I'm a little worried, but I'm kind of glad that the Marvel Studios is part of this because I don't know, you would take it to an odd direction.
But see, in this film, you can tell throughout the whole film that she has a crush on Peter Parker, the Michelle character. Yeah. But she's like kind of the tough, bad A kind of girl. Oh, I'm too cool to be in love with someone. Oh, crushes are for losers. I'm a cool girl. But she's always kind of following Peter around. Like, not in a stalker kind of way, but kind of like, why are you always around him like all the time?
Yeah, even when he goes to detention, she's in there like, why are you here? I mean,
yeah, she didn't even get detention, but she went there because Peter was there.
Yeah.
But of course, that's not what the reason she says. So it's like, okay, she's in love or has a major crush on Peter, but just never says anything.
No, definitely.
Because Peter Parker's in love with that other girl.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because she's super cute. She's really, really super smart. And she likes him back, which is nice. I thought maybe it would be one of those things where it's like, oh, it's a cheerleader girl and she's too good for Peter Parker. No, she actually likes him too, which is nice.
Well, the equivalent of cheerleader girl in this school because they don't
really have anything like that.
Yeah.
And so then Michael Keaton as the Vulture was amazing.
Oh my goodness,
he plays that perfect hardworking guy who just got tired of being treated like crap, so he's going to take what he wants when he wants it. He played it perfect.
Oh yeah, he did.
The only thing is because the Vulture in the comic books was like an old dude that would like absorb your energy and become young again. See, they didn't have any of that in the movie.
No, they made it more down to earth.
Yeah, more realistic because that was kind of a strange thing in the comics, and they didn't. It's nothing like that. And then, of course, Tony Stark did excellent. And the thing is, in the trailers, you think, oh, it's going to be an Iron Man movie. No, Iron Man's in the movie so sparingly.
Well, he's about in the iron. If you combine it total, he was probably in this movie as long as Spider-Man was in Civil War.
Pretty much.
If you put it all into just one thing.
And every scene that he was in, it moved the plot forward.
Yes.
It wasn't like, oh, look, here's an Avenger. No, it was actually for good reason. The jokes were funny with him.
Yeah.
The emotional stuff was emotional with him. It was every scene that Iron Man was in, it was for a purpose and a reason. And I'm glad that they didn't just throw him in there. Oh, look, here's Iron Man just shows up for no reason. No, he showed up for a reason.
Exactly.
I'm trying to think what other characters were in the movie. Like,
Shocker.
Yeah, but so like, yeah, there's two Shockers in the movie.
Exactly.
Taking up the moniker of the Shocker.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of funny because he doesn't look like it in the comics where he has like the little red and everything, but his shoulders.
It's like the start of the
But his sleeves have like the yellow patches, and it's like, oh, that's kind of like his character.
And he has one arm that has that ability, but he's not fully.
Yeah, it's like a fist, like a power fist.
Power fist, but yeah.
And Aunt May. Melissa Tomei,
yes,
excellent as Aunt May. Kind of more of a younger Aunt May who's, trying to like be a single mom in a weird way, which she's trying to be like, oh, but I'm still like the cool mom. She did a super good job as that kind of worried aunt. And then there's a scene where it's in the trailers where Spider-Man stops that bank robbery and it's on the news. And then Aunt May tells Peter, well, if you see anything like that, you have to run away. And then Peter's like, oh, yeah, sure, okay. But
he's the one that's...
Because she's actually... Because anyone who knows the comics knows that her husband, Ben, died.
Yeah.
So she's super protective of Peter. And you see it, and you actually feel that real emotion connection between the two, which is... That's where I think Marvel films do it better than anyone else, is that when they have their emotional connections, they're believable.
It has resonance.
Yeah, and like you actually can feel that and actually like relate to that. So I'm trying to think, would you say there was anyone in the movie that was poorly acted? Except for Flash Thompson just being a complete jerk, but that's his character. He did it perfect.
Oh,
but
yeah.
He's such a jerk, though.
I would say, personally, if I was going to think any poorly characters...
Some of the henchmen, kind of...
Yeah, they weren't, but again, they weren't...
They're not main characters.
They're main characters, so they can kind of get away with that. I thought a little bit like the school teacher, the guy who was part of the debate club guy. The teacher. He was like that goofy teacher that you would see in a Disney movie. But I guess it works for something. Again, there's a really funny joke with him, and it just goes off so perfect because like you wouldn't say that on TV because you'd be in so much trouble. The one we're talking about losing students. Oh yeah.
That's so funny.
We've done it before. Yeah.
And it's like, not again. What do you mean?
Not again. He did it before. Okay, yeah.
And he's like, that's so silly.
That's what makes it.
But I'm thinking, I'm so glad that they said, hey, everyone knows how Spider-Man got his powers. They don't even explain it. There is probably about a 30-second conversation after his friend finds out, in the trailers, his Asian friend finds out, and he's like asking him a million questions, like, oh, can you do this, can you do that? And he's like, oh, so a spider bit you? Is that spider still around? He's like, no, the spider's dead. And then his friend's like, oh, I wish it would have bit me. And they go, that's all the explanation you need. 30 seconds. 15 seconds of an explanation. We don't need to see Ben die. We don't need to see any of that stuff. It'd be nice to know the circumstances in this film, in this universe of Spider-Man, how Ben died, but it's not important to the rest of the plot.
It really isn't. Because, I mean, pretty much I'm sure it's going to be like it's always been, so you really don't need to, but I can kind of see why people want to say it. But to me, we need to get past it. And we know it, we just know it. We need to just move on from that.
And the overall arc of the story, how the story flows, I thought it had really good pacing.
Yes.
You get to start out with Spider-Man doing Spider-Man things, like the little stuff like stopping stopping the kid who stole the bike and helping the old lady cross the street. Little stupid things. And then his first kind of real fight is those bank robbers because they have like tech, like alien weapons, and that's kind of where the Vulture does his work. He was part of a cleanup crew that cleaned up after the Avengers big battle, so he would collect the alien technology
from the first movie,
and then he basically got fired from that job, and he said that's what kind of pushed him over the edge. So he's selling alien technology, and that's basically the whole plot of the movie. Peter finds out about the alien technology, and he's trying to stop the Vulture from selling it in arms and all that kind of stuff.
And he tries to tell Tony Stark, but Tony Stark kind of says, well, that's below our pay grade. Like, we're not supposed to worry about that stuff.
Because even and there's a point in the movie where the thugs are talking to the Vulture, and they're like, hey, we've been doing this for, 6 months, 5 months? Nothing from the feds, nothing from the Avengers, and then all of a sudden all this heat starts coming because Spider-Man's interfering. So you can, in this Marvel world, there's a lot of stuff that goes under the radar.
Yeah.
So if you're not like a big world-ending kind of enemy, Thor's not going to come down and stop you. So that's kind of cool to see that there's still that street level
Yeah,
crime.
because what can they do? There's so much going on. They don't got time for it, which is kind of weird. They have to have other people take care of it.
That's what like teams like the Defenders and stuff.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man, those are the street level, and those are my favorite heroes for the most part. I like the big giant galactic battles, but it's cool to see the street level heroes getting their time and getting a good movie.
Well, yeah, like I said, you would think this Vulture and how these henchmen are would fit in a Defenders type of setting.
Yeah.
That would fit. Like, that's kind of right where it would be, that kind of level.
And like you even hear like the thugs going, hey, if we get Iron Man on us, we're done. Because the Vulture's a pretty strong bad guy for normal dudes, but Iron Man would whoop them in a second. So they're worried about their business. Like, oh, the Avengers get down on us, guys. We're going to just give up. We're not going to even fight them because they're going to beat the crap out of us.
Yep.
So you have that whole arc of Peter trying to prove himself. And like a real teenager, he fails a lot.
Yeah,
and he gets angry and he gets upset and he gets sad. And then he gets a little bit too happy at the victories and kind of like, oh, I can do anything. But then you know what? He gets knocked back down because he's just a kid. And there's a scene where, like most of the scenes where he's like swinging through the city and stuff, he screws up. He's hitting sides of walls.
Because he's still learning.
He's tripping. Like there's one part where he swings, but he swings too low and he just crashes on the ground.
That's great.
That's so cool to think like, oh yeah, it would be hard to do those things. Even with spider abilities, he's still learning.
Yeah.
That's cool to see at the beginning.
He's not fully developed, yeah. He's not fully developed into that Spider-Man that we know.
If there was a Spider-Man year one, like Batman year one, this is Spider-Man year
definitely.
one.
Well, way more.
Way more. Yeah,
more.
Where you can smile and it's okay.
Yeah.
And another thing that I thought was really great was you see Spider-Man, we talked about this in another podcast, there's a theme of Spider-Man where he chooses, do I do the thing that makes Peter Parker happy or I do the thing that makes Spider-Man happy?
Yep.
And he chooses Spider-Man a lot of the times. And you can see that it hurts him because like, oh, there was like a big party and he's like, oh, his best friend basically tells him like, oh, Peter Parker knows Spider-Man. But if he would have showed up as Spider-Man and like vouched for Peter, it would have made Peter Parker's life so much cooler.
Yeah.
But he realized, I have to go be Spider-Man to stop these bad guys that were, because he saw like an explosion in the distance. And then he's standing on the roof and you see the look in his eyes like, man, I wish I could just be in this party. But he has to do the right thing because he knows the right thing to do is always the right thing to do.
Because that's small potatoes in those grand scheme of things. This is something that's more serious.
Yeah, because, oh, Peter Parker's a cool kid at school or this person's selling alien technology to thugs. Exactly. Which one of these two things is more important? And he makes the right decision.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing you're talking about when you're talking about if he's more popular, like some people, especially old school Spider-Man fans, are kind of mad at the fact that on the internet that that Spider-Man is more popular.
Yeah.
But see, here's my take on it: is the fact that since Tony Stark knows him and he can be part of the Avengers, that's automatically going to
it kind of makes him into the good guy because, like in the original comics, is Spider-Man the vigilante? Is he breaking the law himself and everything? But in this movie, at least from what you can see from the people on the street, they love Spider-Man. He's like a local hero.
Exactly. So, I mean, I can see where, well, it's got to be different, guys. It wouldn't make any sense. Oh, we don't like Spider-Man. He's working with Tony Stark, so that makes it okay.
Yeah, so, like, why would Tony Stark, why would Iron Man, Tony Stark, or work with a bad guy?
Yeah.
So, I guess they changed that, which is fine.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me.
And another change from traditional Spider-Man to this Spider-Man is the suit he has is very Iron Man, like it has an AI.
Oh, it's pretty cool. I was cool.
And it can talk to him and stuff, and then he can like set up things like, oh, I want twin webs, I want taser webs.
Oh, he was like over 580
rapid
webs.
Fire.
He goes, like, just give me any. I don't know what webs you want.
And then there's this is like an instant kill mode. Yeah. It keeps wanting to go to the instant kill.
No, we're not killing anybody.
It's like, it's like, oh, there's 10 people or there's a couple people in this van. And he's like, oh, would you like for me to activate instant kill? He's like, no, I don't want to kill anybody. But it's like it keeps like,
it's even funny. Even a little funny effect. His eyes get all red. I'll be red. No, I don't want menacing looking. No, I don't want.
And it's like, but it's cool that it's so funny because in the movie, you see some of it in the trailers or whatever when he's like using the AI. He wasn't supposed to have that right away.
No.
So like he's like using things. It'd be like putting a kid who just got his license in a Ferrari. He's gonna screw it up.
Yeah,
he's gonna know what
his
he's
friend
doing.
goes in there and he hacks it, so that way he gets all the abilities.
Yeah, because I guess Tony Stark put like little blockers.
Yeah.
For like so he would slowly but surely be brought into the fold of how much his suit can do, but like he skipped all that, which was probably a very bad idea. But
yeah, definitely.
But you see a lot of good. The action, every action scene was good.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
When you see when you see him failing, like in the trailer, you see him climbing the Washington Monument. He's like getting out of breath, and he's like, "I never climbed this high before." And you can see that he's kind of scared to be up there, like a real flipping person.
Exactly.
My goodness, these are real feelings and real emotions, and only Marvel seems to know how to freaking do it.
I know, because they don't take account for that. They don't account for the comics. They don't account for anything. They just want to do their direction and how they want it.
So we've been basically praising this film nonstop. If I had to complain, except for the little things where they change, like his suit has an AI and everything, but that's not too bad. The only
voiced by Jennifer Connelly, by
which
the way.
is super weird.
That's
like you
weird.
don't even notice it because it's kind of digitized.
Exactly.
But like, oh, that's odd that Jennifer Connelly decided just to do that just for fun. Yep. The only thing, my biggest complaint was that Mary Jane is kind of she's
antisocial.
She kind of like she's very antisocial. And she's very, not full-blown, like, liberal, oh, I hate everything about, like, she, like, makes a comment about the Washington Monument being built by slaves, so she's not going to go in there. And it's like,
it's kind of the SJ Warrior. So that's probably, if anything, was the only cringy moment of the whole movie. You're like...
When she said that, and then, like, oh, I'm going to get the DC, get a couple protests in. Okay, whatever. And it doesn't detract from the film, it just detracts from the character of Mary Jane.
Yeah, but the thing I'm worried about, what about the next film?
Yeah.
How's that going to expand upon them ways that we might not like?
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure Marvel, the MCU, and Marvel and the comics are separated enough to where they realize, well, look at Marvel Comics selling like garbage, and that's what they push. So they can sneak in a couple of little lines.
Yes, I'm hoping that's all it is.
Yeah, and hopefully it just stays at that, but it's kind of a groaner. That's the only time I was like, okay, okay. You're better than everyone because, you're the social knows everything.
Yep.
That's probably my only real complaint. Is those two lines.
Yeah, out of the whole movie, that would be the weakest parts.
And the only other part, too, was the part where they're in the gym and they're doing, like, the fitness test. But Captain America does, they don't have, like, the presidential challenge, but it's with Captain America.
Yeah, they have a tape of him.
Yeah, every scene where he's doing, like, a PSA, it's hilarious because it's so hackney. It's so 80s, G.I. Joe garbage.
They even did it when he's in detention. It's so funny.
It's so silly. But that scene where they're talking about, like, oh, I think Thor's so hot and everything, that's the only time where I felt like, okay, this feels like a Disney high school movie. That scene, just that one particular scene.
Yeah, but we're so nitpicking.
Yeah,
we're nitpicking.
I'm literally looking for things to dislike because I don't want to say I just loved everything. That scene and Mary Jane's two little comments. Yeah. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, the one thing I will say when it comes to characters being not in this movie is no Osborn still.
Yeah.
I still don't see Osborn. It's crazy.
He's only a sophomore. Yeah. So maybe Harry comes in later.
Maybe.
Because there's no mention of Oscorp in any way.
No, I mean, that's such a central part of
Spider-Man. Wouldn't it have been easy enough because basically the Vulture steals stuff. Yeah. Technologies. Couldn't he have stolen a truck from Oscorp?
Just put the name on the
side like a little sticker on the side of a truck.
Yeah.
But nothing. So I don't know if they're ever going to do a Green Goblin.
That's so weird, though, if they don't.
And so, like, okay, now this is, like, major spoiler. Woo, send out the red flag. This is major spoiler. Basically, at the end, you see Spider-Man beats the Vulture, and he ends up going to jail and everything. And then the girl he liked, that was her dad. That was, like, the big spoiler in the movie. That was her father. So now she has to move because her dad's in jail and everything. And I just thought of this a day ago. Maybe she's the Green Goblin because basically what ended up happening in the original story, Harry's father became the Green Goblin, and Spider-Man's an enemy of Green Goblin, but Spider-Man's also the friend of Harry.
Yeah.
So you have Harry Osborn hates Spider-Man for what he did to his father, but he loves Peter Parker as his best friend. Yep. So now we have that same dynamic now.
Yep.
Peter Parker's in love with this girl, but she hates Spider-Man for sending her father to jail. So maybe somehow she finds the Vulture armor and she becomes like mini Vulture, which is like Goblin, Green Goblin, like how when that happened.
Maybe that's what they're gonna do.
Maybe that's what
that would
be
neat.
Neat. That is my what you call it, my shot in the dark, Hail Mary pass idea that just came to my mind, and so maybe that could be a storyline they do.
That could be. But I think I'd say the one other scene that made me uncomfortable was the scene of the house.
Yeah,
when he went because
he asked that girl out. I can't believe I don't remember her name, but he asks her out, and then she says yes, and then he's like, oh, that was another cute scene because he rushes home. And he's like, M.A., and she thinks something's wrong, but he's like, I don't know how to dance. I don't know how to talk to a girl, and then she's like showing him, okay, make sure you hold the door open and all those things like that. And that was again another emotional part where it was Peter Parker.
Yep.
And you feel for Peter Parker and you cheer for him like, yay, he's got a date. Like you wanted this boy to and at that moment you forget he's Spider-Man. Yeah. You just remember, oh yeah, he's a sophomore in high school. And my God, they do it so good in this movie.
It's so sincere.
Yeah, it's sincere and it's believable. So you see him like trying to dance with that maid because he's never done it before, and it's so cute and awkward and funny, and it just so he gets to the house. He knocks on the door, and as Michael Keaton answers the door, and like for a second, as the audience, you're thinking,
First of all, you're like, did he kidnap her? But then after 10 seconds, looking at him, go, no, he looks too comfortable. Like,
and then he invites him into the house, and Peter Parker's as stiff as a board. He's just like, Then you see the wife come out and give him a kiss, like, oh, can't believe, oh my goodness, it's the father. Yep. And so every second after that, it's just tension.
Yeah, very much
because
so.
she's like, "Oh, you got me a corsage," and then he just like hands it to her because he's thinking, "Oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness."
That's Vulture. Yeah.
And then like, "Oh, I'll give you kids a ride to the dance," and Peter's like, "No, I want to be near this guy." And then the whole card where there, you get this whole scene where he's like, "So, oh yeah, Peter, what do you do?" He's like, "Oh, I'm on because he's on this academic decathlon team."
Yeah.
So it's like a quiz show, basically.
Basically.
So he's with this, and his daughter is the captain of the team, and she's like, "Oh yeah, Peter, we were on the same team, but you kept ducking out in DC, and we couldn't find you." And then the dad starts putting the pieces together.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh yeah, Peter, you're always like running off and disappearing," and Peter's like at the point where he's like, shut up, stop talking.
Shut up.
He's like, "Oh, that's odd. So where did this happen?" It's like in DC, and then Spider-Man showed up in DC. So the dad's putting all the pieces together.
Yep, exactly.
And then he figures it out, and that's like that scene where he's like, he goes, "Oh, I'm gonna talk to Peter, the man-to-man talk, whatever." And he just basically has a gun in his hand, and like gets behind the seat, and he's like, "So, I'm giving you this. This is my one, like, caveat to you. Save my daughter in DC, and you just leave me alone. And if you don't, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you, kill your family, kill everyone you know." And it's like, and you feel it, and then Peter Parker's like, "Yes." He's like, gets out of the car, and he's just in a daze.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what to do. And then like everyone's at the dance, and everyone's smiling and having a good time, and he's just like, deadpan.
Yeah, MJ's giving him the middle finger.
Yeah,
right? He's like, okay,
people hate that, but she doesn't. Yeah, he's like literally like you hear the music, but in his head everything's dulled.
Yeah.
And he has to make that decision. Do I go because he knows he's up to a big score. So he's like, do I go and try to stop him, or do I stay at this dance? And of course, Peter Parker making that decision again to be Spider-Man.
Yep.
And he goes out there, and of course he gets caught because he knew that you couldn't resist being the good guy or whatever.
Yep.
So that scene is probably one of the most. I think that goes in my top 10 most awkward tension scenes I've ever seen in a movie. Where like you don't
it comes out of nowhere, you don't expect it.
And how many times do you get to have where the good guy and the bad guy interact in a completely weird way that they wouldn't have interacted in?
Exactly.
Because like how often does the superhero date the daughter of the villain when the villain doesn't know that that's the superhero? That's such an awkward situation, but it's great. I
love it. Even when in the house they're taking a picture of him, he's just not even looking at it.
He's like stiff as a board.
he's like, I don't want to be here.
And
I love that.
This movie it has scene after scene after scene that's just great.
Yeah, it is.
And very, very little to complain about. And so I sound like a Marvel fanboy, but I honestly can't say, well, that was just stupid or that was terrible. It all worked.
Yep. And also stay to the very end past the
credits. Yeah, there's two credit scenes. I know this is a spoiler review. We will not spoil the last reveal because it's beautiful. It is a combination of everything. Comic book movies, everything. And the credits are really cool too because they do like a weird kind of pop art.
Pop art, yeah.
Yeah, like where you see it kind of reminds me a lot of the Deadpool ending.
Yep.
So there's a lot of funny, silly things going around, but it's really cool.
That's perfect. They nailed it.
I mean, I can't say enough. Go see it.
Yep. You need to go see it.
I'm trying again. Then of course they set up for a sequel. You know, there's going to be more, and even Marvel said it themselves that the next Spider-Man film will be the launching pad for the next set of all Marvel movies.
Yeah, I think he's going to be the face of it because these other actors, they can't do it forever,
and he's young enough to do it.
Yep.
And you can tell he loves being Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah.
So Tom Holland's going to be Spider-Man. They said it's going to be a 5-movie arc, but that's counting Civil War was the first one, then Homecoming, then Infinity War, Homecoming 2, and then probably something else, maybe Homecoming.
Yeah, I just found out from our other brother, who's never done this podcast, by the way, saying that it's going to just be one film now, Infinity War. They're not splitting it to 2 anymore.
It's so funny, like it was 2, then it was 1, then it was 2 again, but now it's back to 1, so I think they're going to just try to make it one film. Because I hate, Harry Potter started that crap of splitting the last movie into 2 movies. If you can fit Return of the King into 1 movie, you can fit just about anything.
Yeah, I think as long as just tell people 3-hour movie. You want to do 3-hour movie, you do a 3-hour movie to get it all in. If you have to 3+. Yeah,
Or, you do the 2 hours and 40 minutes and then do the special edition on Blu-ray that has everything. But I'm grateful that this film is so good because Spider-Man's back.
Yep. He's
back and he's the king again. Because for all intents and purposes, Spider-Man is the face of Marvel. It was Wolverine for a long time because of the movies, but I think the comics and everything, it's Spider-Man, it's everything that Marvel used to stand for. I can't speak of the Marvel comics today, but back in the day, everything that Spider-Man is exactly what Marvel's about.
Guys, you have to understand, Spider-Man is, for around the world, probably still the most popular character in Marvel. He just is. He just always will be. He just has that universal international appeal. He just does.
And another funny thing for me personally, even during funny movies, I go see in the theaters. I don't laugh out loud very much, but I was laughing out loud in this film because there's so many silly things that you think about Spider-Man doing. And it's like, oh yeah, what would happen if this happened with Spider-Man? And then you see it happening, like, oh yeah, there you go. That's the answer.
Exactly,
it's so silly.
Exactly.
But you see, it brought back Spider-Man's sense of righteousness.
Yep.
His sense of, I got to do the right thing. Even though, because there's a scene where a guy was trying to buy some of these bad guns from like this, from the seller, the Vulture sellers. And then he jumps down and he pulls out a gun and he's going to shoot the other guy. And Spider-Man goes, if you're going to shoot someone, shoot me. This guy's a criminal and he's saving his life. Because Spider-Man has that sense of good, that sense of righteousness, that sense of doing the right thing.
And I thought it was kind of cool that street criminal wanted to sell it to him. He goes, I just want regular guns. I don't want
you can see he's like, I don't want to vaporize anyone. I just want to hold someone up.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's cool to see Spider-Man be a real Spider-Man and not stupid and silly, but he's a young kid that has that vision of doing the right thing and being good. So that's cool. I loved it. I mean, I can't say enough about it. Definitely go see it.
Yeah, go see it, please.
If you're on the fence, don't be. I haven't read any negative reviews, but again, I haven't looked for them either. But I would like to actually see, like, oh, that movie was terrible because of X, Y, and Z. I don't know how you can hate this film.
Anyone that's doing that, I hate to say they're doing it because they want to get clicks for their friggin' YouTube page.
Yeah, because a negative review is always better than a positive. Like, for people viewing, like, people love negativity.
Yep.
But honestly, as a solid comic book fan, there's nothing wrong with this film.
No.
Really, there really isn't. I'm sorry. It doesn't make you sound like a fanboy, but literally bring up a point and saying, oh, that was terrible for Spider-Man.
We mentioned its flaws, and there were very few.
Yeah, and those are just, they don't detract from the film.
No.
It's not a big gaping hole where it's like, oh, that was stupid.
Exactly.
There's no Martha moment in this film where it's just like pulls you out of the film.
I know we've mentioned that a lot in this podcast, that Martha is so annoying.
That is a modern day thing that everyone knows where it happened in a film and they were like, that's like a guy shooting a last second three and completely airballing it. That's what that scene was. It's supposed to be big, huge, momentous, and it was just a groaner. There's no, besides the Mary Jane comments, there's no real groaners in this film.
No, there isn't.
So that's everything I got to say.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really say any more about it either. Go see it. It's excellent. You will not be sorry. Just go see it. I mean,
even casual fans of superheroes, like my sister, if she would see this film, I know she would like it. Because you end up feeling for Peter Parker, you feel for the characters, and you don't need to have a vast knowledge of Marvel to get this film. You don't even have to even have watched Civil War, because it kind of recaps it a little bit in the beginning of the film. So you can come to this movie completely blind of Spider-Man and still get it.
Yep.
So definitely, I loved it. If I had to give it a score, what do you think? 9? I give it a 9.
It's an 8.8 to 9. It's close. It's close.
Is it the best Spider-Man film ever?
Oh, is it
better than Spider-Man 2?
You know what? I hate to say it. This Spider-Man fits it better. I think I give a slight edge to this one.
I think Spider-Man Homecoming is slightly better than Spider-Man 2, but they're very close. If I just had to grade them, but those are.
But it just comes down to the guy playing Spider-Man. Yeah. That's the fact. That's what puts a little bit over the top over Spider-Man 2.
So there you go. That's our mini reaction review, thoughts and feelings. So
mini spoilers on
mini spoilers here and there. But I'm good. You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, so that's us signing off. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I've been your host, Crimson Sin.
And I'm in 15 PCA.
Catch you guys later.
See you later. Bye.